So in this movie, I want to talk about the breath because in spirituality, the breath is one of the main things that we emphasize on, and every time we're talking about the breath and we're coming back to the breath. So let's just jump into it. My name is Jerry, and I want to talk about spirituality. So spiritus santes actually means the wind, holy wind, the air. Spirit is the breath. Your body without the breath is dead. So the breath is very important. The thing I want to explain is that if you want to talk to your body, which is actually 90% the subconscious, you can talk to your subconscious by the breath, by just breathing into it. You can see the same thing with yoga and with Tai Chi. The movement, even with karate, even with most of the martial arts, you will see that they are constantly moving with the breath. You do a lot of the things you do in the out breath and the in breath and the out breath. It's a flow, and it's the flow of life. What we see mostly when people are stressed, you will see that they have a quick, fast, on deep, like a instead of a if you have a problem with muscles, with pains in your body, you can breathe into them, because the moment you start to breathe into the part of your body that you put your consciousness on, and then breathe, your consciousness is actually the direction you want your pain relief to be. Your consciousness is like the direction. I want to focus on this part of this body, and then you can say, I want to stress it or I want to relax it. So if you want to stress it, think stressful. If you want to relax it, think relaxful. And the first thing that's really powerful to ease the tension, to relax the muscle or the part of your body that's in pain, is just to breathe into it in a relaxing mode, like breathing in and breathing out. Your body is actually made of three consciousness. You have the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious, according to Sigmund Freud. But if you look at the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious, you will see that the Sigmund Freud actually made it like an iceberg that's floating underneath the water in a pyramidal, in a pyramid. And on top you have like the conscious, and then you have the subconscious, and the unconscious is the lower part. It's still big, but it's the lower part. So the mid part, the subconscious part, are mainly the things that you're unconscious of. So they're subconscious, they're underneath the level of the conscious. And those things are stored in your body. So your body is like a computer, and your body stores all of the things that you experience, stores it in your body. We think that we humans invented the computer. No, we copied the computer from ourselves. We replicated the way our system works, and then we made a computer. So your computer, when you buy it, when you're born, it's the same thing. It starts with scratch, nothing. So your hard disk, when you're born, there are still a few subconscious things there. And that's also even with a hard disk, it is like that. There are things on the hard disk which actually we don't know what it is. So when you're born, there are the subconscious things which are there. And those are mostly things that we have actually, how you say it? You got it from your parents. You got it from your parents. So those are, I don't know, it's in your DNA. So what then happens is that your subconscious, when you get older, you will get a lot of things, software, put in your hardware. Your hardware is your body, and your software is the beliefs you get inside. And most of the beliefs that you get in your body, they will become your future. They will become your repetition. They will become your daily habits. If we don't change nothing, our daily habits will keep the same from the time that you're 13, 14, 15. Your habits, your thoughts will always keep the same as long as you don't do with it. But you can change them via the breath. The breath, if you go into the breath, you breathe in, you can change a lot of the repetitions that you have in your life. That's why yoga is a lot of breathing in and breathing out. Some people have experienced that when they started doing yoga with certain positions, they will have like an energy flow. The energy starts to flow, and some of the blocks that were in the body, they will open a flood of emotions, because most of our experience are based in emotions. So the emotions which are stored in our body, they will flow out all the time. They were actually oppressed in your body. Keep quiet. We don't want to listen to you. Take some alcohol. Take some drugs. We don't want to know. Take some medicine. We don't want to hear you. So the moment that you start to move the body, it is actually, and you start to breathe into it, it actually opens everything up, and it makes everything that is unconscious conscious. Because this is the thing that we have to learn in life, that the things that are unconscious, they need to be conscious. And especially feelings which are unconscious or subconscious, the moment that you put your attention to it, they will dissipate, they will disappear, and they won't bother you anymore, or they will bother you like on a slope, every time less, till they find a good place in your body, which it has a feeling of a positive feeling to it. Most of the things that we have oppressed in our body are situations which we don't want to accept that this thing happened to us. We don't want to accept that this is a feeling that is ours. So the moment you start to incorporate the feeling and then approach the feeling as if it was your child, not everybody knows how to deal with children, but just call them. Bring them to your attention. Come, listen, my child. What is wrong? And then the child is going to start a flood of words. And it's just listening. Don't be judgmental. Because the moment you're going to be judgmental, you're creating a struggle again. You're actually creating tension again, friction again. From friction comes more friction. From tension comes more tension. But the moment you put attention towards it, it actually dissipates. It changes the way you feel, and it changes the way you experience it. Always accept what happened in the past is just because of you surviving, because you were not conscious. You didn't know how to do it differently. So it was a coping mechanism to survive what happened with you in the past. But now is the future. Just be neutral with it. Be neutral with the situation and with the feeling that you have, and just feel the emotion and then let it go. Let the emotion go. Sometimes I have this thing, like some emotions, they come up and I'm like, what happened with it? It just left. I thought I had a feeling together with a thought, but it just disappeared. And I cannot recall what these are. Emotions, they came to your attention, and only just being at your attention, they flow away. If there are emotions that need more taking care of, that need more consciousness, they will come back. Just let them flow. They will come back. If they are not important anymore, they will go. If they actually feel that they have enough attention, enough consciousness, they will leave. They will dissipate. So people, again, the breath. The breath is the way, is the gate to your consciousness, your subconsciousness, and your unconsciousness. The gate to all of them. The moment that you start to breathe, means you're being conscious of your breathing. And the moment that you start to be conscious of your stories, of your feelings, that is, you're breathing into the story. Just breathe into them. Let them just be. Breathe into them. And then when you start to breathe into the body and move the body, movement is very important in our creation of life. With the law of attraction, with the law of creation, you need to visualize, you need to feel it, see it, feel it, and then be it or do it. Is the same. Being and doing it. Those three goes together. You cannot create something that you cannot see. I mean mentally. It's like an architect. If he cannot see the building in his mind, he cannot create it. If the workers cannot feel the stones, they cannot create it. And if the workers don't Put the stones in line. There is no building. See it, feel it, create it. Do it, be it. That's creation. You feel it, you see it, you feel it, and you create it. But first, you have to visualize, to materialize. But they always forget the feeling. There are three bodies: the emotional body, that's the feeling body, the physical body, and the mental body. So the mental body is to see it in your mental state, and the last one is to be it. That's the physical, the body that's movement. See it, feel it, and do it. But all of those things, you need the breath. You need to breathe to see it. You need to breathe to visualize it. So again, I had a small encounter with my daughter, and she has some back problems. I had to explain it to her, like listen, you need to do some stretching, and when you do the stretching, you have to breathe into the stretching. So I'm actually explaining her, like, you have to do yoga, but somehow she is like an anti-yoga. I think this is the age. 14 years, everything that's not cool is especially yoga. It's not cool. But I had to explain it to her, like, you need to breathe into it. And I could see from the way that she was thinking, like, I still don't believe you. But I had to explain it to her, like, when you see the sporters, because I know she likes American things. When you see, like, the baseball players, and it's time for them, the coach will say, go warm up and stretch. And start to stretch the muscles that you're gonna use, that you're gonna need to do the performance. So she has a backache, and she went to the physio, and she's not doing the exercises. And of course, she's a child. I kind of like, what is the next thing to do? Talk and talk and talk and talk and talk again. But I've learned something, that if the first time it didn't work, you have to change. It's not she has to change, I have to change. So I started to change my approach to it. I knew that the first time I explained yoga was not the correct way for her to understand it. So I had to change the system. So what I now bought, I still bought the yoga mat. I started to explain it this way. You need to breathe into it, because the breathing is the spirit. And that was another woo-woo explanation again, like, And you could see the way that she's looking, like, oh my God, this is not the right way to explain it. I moved on, I changed it again. And I started to explain, because I know that she likes sports. I told her, listen, you like Kung Fu. What is the main thing when you walk the katas? It's breathing. You need to know how to breathe. She couldn't explain. She couldn't actually explain why she didn't like yoga. I think it has to do with coolness. 14-year-old boys and girls, they only think what is cool and what's not cool. And I think yoga doesn't look really cool. So I think I'm gonna keep it here. Thank you for watching. My name is Jerry. Don't forget to click the subscribe and the bell button to remind you when I have a movie again. And hope to see you next time. And don't forget, life is sweet. Life is beautiful. Bye-bye.